Thank you for joining us for the Education Abroad During COVID-19 Information Session series. In today's session, we will be discussing changes to the recruitment and development timeline. Why are we making these changes? Well, due to the increased risks and challenges in traveling during a pandemic, USF has required international programs to undergo additional risk and safety review. This includes the development of a mitigation strategy based upon the mitigation document program directors have already received. The need for this mitigation development has pushed out the timelines for everything from finalizing the itinerary to making the budget. Moreover, we have established additional benchmarks throughout the academic year to review the ever-changing situation in the locations where we wish to travel. The added benefit to delaying student commitment and making non-refundable deposits is that we can protect students from becoming fee liable for non-refundable costs. But let's turn now to how this will impact your program's recruitment. All program brochures will now include specific language explaining that due to the pandemic, there may be a sudden change to the itinerary or the entry requirements to a country of interest. We may also be forced to cancel a portion or the entire program with little notice should the situation and country become too dangerous. Programs will first open with a price range instead of a final price as we've done in years past. This will allow us the time to budget accordingly for the mitigation required. As a result, while students may begin applying as early as August 24th, they will not be accepted into the program or asked for a deposit until November the 16th. Students may still continue to apply after this date on a rolling basis. We have also developed a review for the program at 100 days before departure. This will allow us to hold off on making any non-refundable purchase until closer to the program's departure. Let's take a look at the timeline for the next 2 semesters. Let's take a look at some of the fixed dates and periods for the coming academic year. Currently, faculty members are working with program managers and providers in order to develop COVID mitigation plans for their programs. This mitigation plan is required in order for us to move on to the budgeting process, so the sooner we have it done, the better. However, the ultimate deadline would be October 1st. By August 24th, students should be able to begin applying on the Education Abroad website for particular programs. Concurrently, from August 24th through November 1st, we will be working on budgeting. Again, we're hoping to have this as soon as possible, but November 1st is really the deadline in order for us to be able to have the budget approved and vetted before we begin accepting students on the 16th. Please be sure to join us on September 24th for the Virtual Education Abroad Fair. Please check your email for an email from Snow White, who should have more information about the fair. In the first 2 weeks of November, our office will be working with the International Risk and Security team in order to assess the impact of COVID-19 to the various locations that faculty wish to travel. While this still may be too soon to get a perfect picture of what this summer will look like, this is at least a start, so that we can then move on to accepting students on November 16th. Students are still free to continue applying. This is just a priority notification deadline for acceptance. Students can apply through until the application deadline. At this point, our dates split into 2 branches, those for spring break and those for summer. So we will have our enrollment benchmark, as we have in years past, at 75% of the minimum enrollment in order to proceed with recruitment. For spring break, this deadline takes place on December 1st, and for summer, it is January 31st. Programs that meet the benchmark and are able to continue will then have a final deadline of January 15th for spring break or March 1st for summer. These dates may vary depending upon the program, if there are earlier requirements or earlier deadlines in country, but these are essentially the rule of thumb. At 100 days prior to departure, we will begin to assess the impact of the pandemic on the location that we wish to travel to. This is our finalized green light period. We are unable to purchase airfare or make any non-refundable deposits until after this review period has taken place. We will also be taking this moment to look at requirements as far as vaccination, COVID testing, quarantine periods, self-isolation, etc. that may be required for arrival. At this point, we will make the determination as to whether or not it makes sense to enter the country. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact your program manager. Thank you for joining us for this installment of the series.